The 2023 Giants are going to be interesting, but in a different way. This year, they could completely bust and miss the playoffs, or they could go on to win the Super Bowl. Yes, I'm saying that I think the Giants can go and make the Super Bowl. They have a good roster with some elite players, however, with a tough division and some questionable play from some players, it's going to be difficult. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what the title of this video, but it's probably going to be something like New York Giants Boom or Bust or something like that. I have no idea yet. This year in free agency, the Giants traded for one very notable guy, and that is Darren Waller. It might shock some people that Darren Waller is 30 years old, but anyways, his stats have been declining since 2020, but at his peak, at his very best, dude is a top 3 receiver in the NFL. Hopefully Brian Daboll uses him well. I'm sure he will. Let's just see how things go. But he's now going to be the #1 option on a very good team, and if he stays healthy, I'm sure his stats are going to improve from last year. But after looking at who the Giants got and lost, it seems like they didn't lose or gain anybody notable besides Waller. Giants fans, if I'm missing anybody, let me know. So let's move on to the roster. When we go over the rosters, we of course start out with the quarterback, and the quarterback for the Giants, I mean, you should know him, it's Daniel Jones. In his first 3 seasons, Daniel Jones was seen as a bust. He simply was not good. But 2022 was Daniel Jones' best statistical season. He wasn't elite or amazing or anything like that, but it was the first season where he didn't look like a turnover machine. Hopefully for Giants fans and me, I like Daniel Jones. I'm a Daniel Jones supporter. Hopefully he can have his first Pro Bowl season next season. Next up for the running back is Saquon Barkley, and he's one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's a top 5 running back. Through 5 NFL seasons, Saquon has a wild NFL career. 2018, he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. 2019, he follows it up with another good season. But in 2020, things came crashing down, kind of like everybody else. After a very bad week 1 outing, he tried to follow it up in week 2 with a good game, but however, he tore his ACL, which really sucked for me because I drafted him with the 2nd pick. So yeah, my season was kind of over in fantasy football. The season he came back from his ACL injury, he was awful. He sucked. So entering 2022, there were a lot of doubters, and I'll admit, I was one of them. I didn't think he was going to do good. But he proved all of them wrong, posting a career high in rushing yards and reestablishing himself as one of the best running backs in the NFL. Hopefully, he can continue that in 2023. We look at the wide receiver core, including the tight ends, and it's very iffy. Entering 2022, not a lot of people knew who Isaiah Hodgins was, and then after 2022, he had a pretty good season, not 1,000 yards or anything, but he had a pretty good season, so hopefully in 2023 he can have another good one. Through 4 seasons in his career, Darius Slayton has been a consistent 700-yard receiver, so I expect much of the same in 2023. Paris Campbell and whatever. Wan'Dale Robinson, last year he was a rookie, he was looking pretty good, and then he tore his ACL, so hopefully he can bounce back from that. Last year with the Tennessee Volunteers, Jalen Hyatt was pretty good, but I mean in his first preseason game he didn't do good, but it's a preseason game. I'm hoping he does good things there. Sterling Shepard has been with the Giants since 2016, which shocks me because he hasn't been elite or good or a Pro Bowl caliber player, so it really shocks me that he's still with the team. And if you look closely at the wide receiver 3s, I couldn't fit them on the screen, but Cole Beasley and Jamison Crowder, they can be good veteran leadership with the team. One more guy, the backup tight end, Daniel Bellinger. He was the starting tight end last season. He wasn't bad in a few games, or maybe he played more than just a few games. I don't know, but he wasn't bad last season. Let's look at the O-line, and this has definitely improved from the last few years, and there's one guy here who stands out from the rest. That, of course, being their left tackle, Andrew Thomas, their 2020 first-round pick, and somehow he didn't make the Pro Bowl team. He was snubbed. I expect that he'll be an All-Pro in 2023, but time will tell. I'm very confident on him. Their other tackle, Evan Neal, was one of the 2 players they drafted in 2022 in the first round, and I expect Evan Neal to be pretty good in the future. They also drafted John Michael Schmitz, which sounds like an actor name. They drafted him in the 2nd round, and who knows, he'll probably be good too, so they got a pretty bright future at that O-line. So let's go to the defense, and we're going to talk about the D-line first, and they might have the best defensive line in the NFL. So I should have brought up A'Shawn Robinson when I was talking about free agency. They picked him up from the Commanders, and he's going to be pretty good for the Giants. Their nose tackle Dexter Lawrence had a breakout season last season as he was named to his first Pro Bowl, and he established himself as a top 3 defensive tackle in the NFL. And their other defensive end, Leonard Williams, is a veteran. He's entering his 9th season, but he's still putting up respectable and decent seasons, so I'm expecting more of the same from him this season. Let's look at the linebackers, and Kayvon Thibodeaux was the Giants' other 2022 first-round pick. He only had 4 sacks last year, but he's got a lot of potential. Okay, guys, so this next guy, Bobby, I don't know how to say his name, so I'm just going to call him Bobby. So Bobby with the Colts last season was very, very good. 151 tackles, which was top 10 in tackles last season. Yeah, that's another guy I forgot to mention in the free agency, so sorry about that. Darian Beavers was a 6th-round pick from 2022, and I'm guessing he didn't play at all in his rookie season because he has nothing on his Pro Football Reference page. So I'm guessing this is his first season playing. The last guy is Azeez Ojulari, and the Giants got him as a steal in the 2nd round in 2021. And he only played 7 games in 2022, but his stats are pretty good for just playing 7 games, so I'm hoping he does pretty good in 2023. I'm expecting he will. Now let's talk about the secondary. This secondary is pretty solid. Let's start with Adoree Jackson. He's been with the Giants for 2 years. This will be his 3rd season, and he hasn't been bad with them. Jason Pinnock, sorry, I don't know much about you. I'm just going to move on. Let's talk about Xavier McKinney. In 2021, McKinney had 5 interceptions with 93 tackles. I'm pretty sure I got the tackles part right. So he's pretty good, but he only played 9 games in 2022. So hopefully in 2023, he can have a bounce back season. In their 2023 first-round pick was Deonte Banks out of Maryland. Hopefully for the Giants, he could do pretty good for them. They also have some very solid backups. Darnay Holmes, Bobby McCain, and Cordell Flock could all start on other teams. Lastly, we have to talk about their division, the NFC East, because it's going to be tough to get through 2 certain teams, the Eagles and the Cowboys. The Eagles just came off a Super Bowl loss, so you know they are going to be hungry to get back and winning. And the Cowboys aren't as good as the Eagles, but they just came off a 12-5 record, and they arguably got better in the offseason. I'm not being biased, it's just the truth. But even if they don't win the division and they still make the wild card round, you know the Giants can make a Cinderella run. They've done it before. So I'm very high on the Giants this season, and you never know. They could shock a lot of people and make the Super Bowl.